Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Respect the Input. A few days ago I was written up at work. I'm an overnight stocker at Walmart. The reason was 2 unworked cases that had no space on the shelf. Later I found out that the supervisor for that area had actually placed these items on the top shelf and then written me up for it. This was pending verification, since there was no formal meeting with an impartial witness as per policy. His feedback? I should check shelf space and fix any placement issues. Alright then, I took that to heart. The next day I saved that area for last, knowing the supervisor would be there in the morning. This specific section was a complete mess. So there I am, with half a shelf's worth of items on the floor, fixing everything, for just one item. The supervisor notices me and asked, "What are you doing? Just put the items back and find a space for yours." At this point I pull out my phone and show him his own feedback, which clearly states that I should fix shelving issues. He stares at it for a moment, trying to reason with me, probably because of time constraints. We eventually come to an agreement. I should respect all supervisors and their input. Fine by me. So I pick up the next box, walk to its location, and what do you know? Another mess. I quote him again about respecting supervisors' input and reference his posted feedback. That day I left with an hour of overtime and a separate supervisor who said they would look into the validity of my write-up. The next story is called TSA Compliance. I was going through TSA at ATL today. The guy in front of me is emptying his pockets into the bin. As he does, I notice one of his AirPods slips out and falls under the table. So I tap him on the shoulder as he turns away to let him know. He flinches and snaps. "Don't touch me." "Alright, no problem, buddy." Coming up the stairs after security, I see him rummaging through his pockets like he's lost something. So with a big smile, and without touching him of course, I say, "Hey man, I think you dropped an AirPod back before the checkpoint. Have a great flight." The third story is called Policy Change. I work in software at large companies. Eventually the software rewrite has to be deployed to a computer somewhere. My department, around 200 software engineers, introduced a new rule. All code changes must be installed on all servers within 2 weeks, or have manager approval. Software changes are one of the biggest causes of bugs or outages. To keep things manageable, every change increments a version number. So if I deploy version 111 and the last one was version 101, that means 10 changes are going out at once. If one of those changes fails, we have to dig through all 10 changes to find the issue and revert it. Deploying regularly helps keep things small and easy to fix. This new rule made it impossible to follow the correct deployment process. Since each change applied to multiple systems, it required 100 plus deployments. And because automation wasn't funded, each one had to be done manually. So almost every change required manager approval. I pointed this out and suggested we change the code to allow individual system updates instead. Around 3 months of work. Management didn't approve the investment, so I decided to strictly follow the policy. I blocked every change because we weren't following the rules. I made them get manager approval every time, forcing them to confront how unrealistic their policy was. But they kept approving changes anyway, so I kept it up. Every change had to follow the policy, which meant managers had to either approve every request, fund the changes, or drop the policy. After 9 months and dozens of overrides, a critical initiative came up that required rapid changes. I made a document outlining how many times the policy had been overridden, what could be done to follow the policy, but ultimately recommended that we either invest now in the changes to allow this to work, slow down the critical project to follow policy, or abandon it. They abandoned the policy. I got an exemplary performance review for my commitment to quality and being a champion of the policy. The last story is called Dish Compliance. This happened a few years ago when I was working at a warehouse and my sister was still in high school. I would wake up early in the morning, about 5:30 a.m. to pack my lunch, take a shower and pick up my coworker since we carpooled. My sister also had to wake up early, but she got home earlier than I did and we both had to do the dishes. It was agreed that she would unload the dishwasher and I would load it. If any dishes didn't fit, I would hand wash them. The problem was that, in the mornings, I often didn't have time to load it. My sister called me out on it and said I was lazy. So my mom stepped in and told her to calm down. We decided to shift the schedule to the evening, so she would unload in the morning. After that, I would get home around 7:30 to 8 p.m. and load the dishwasher. But many times my sister didn't unload it in the morning, even though she had more time than I did. So I called her out on it, and her excuse was, I had homework to do, so I couldn't. Turns out she was actually just talking to her boyfriend or chatting with her friends on Instagram. I got tired of it pretty quickly, especially considering that she had called me lazy for not getting the dishes done when I was just waiting for her to unload them. When I pointed this out, she told me I just needed to step up and do the dishes myself. Cue some creative compliance. I told my mom what was going on, and we both agreed that my sister was doing everything she could to get out of her part of the deal. I explained my plan, and my mom approved. So I did unload the dishwasher, but instead of putting the dishes away, I placed them all on the drying mats. I also made sure to stack them in random ways to fit more, with zero organization. I did all this before my sister woke up. When she got up, she saw me loading the dishwasher and smiled, thinking I was finally doing my job. But then she noticed the tall pile of dishes stacked on just 2 drying mats and was not happy. She started yelling, which not only woke up our mom, but also our stepfather, who could normally sleep through anything. And both of them agreed that I was doing my job. I was loading the dishwasher, so she just needed to put the dishes away. She tried to argue, but I simply told her, hey, I'm just doing my job. You agreed to unload the dishwasher, and I loaded. I can't help if the dishes were in my way. She was fuming, but couldn't argue. She just glared at me while painstakingly unstacking each dish, putting away a bowl, then the plate underneath it, then digging silverware out of Tupperware containers and sorting them. She was still unloading when I headed out to work. After that, she started unloading the dishwasher in the morning, and I loaded it in the evening. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.